Hey, you dinosaur-loving fucks. No, that's not right. No, is that right?
It's going to be one of those weeks.
I don't know if that's right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Jurassic World stuff, park stuff, whatever the stuff, raptor stuff, big dinosaurs that shit all over the place. That's what we're talking about today. It's Jurassic Park Rewatch. We're very excited to do the rewatch. It's myself and Winston and A.Marshall and Jandreau. Drill.
It's going to go well.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a rewatch. As you guys know, we've been doing rewatches on this channel for a tad bit, and now it's Jurassic Park's turn. The new movie, which we'll also talk about, for some ungodly reason, is almost 2.5 hours long. Why? No one knows. But we'll talk about that also. This is the classic Steven Spielberg film that came out in '93. People love it. People are excited about it, and it started this huge franchise. So we'll get into it. And before we do, make sure if you're brand new to the channel and you're checking it out, subscribe, please. Hit that like button, hit the notification button, do all of it. Don't forget to find us on podcast form. That is Apple Podcasts, that is Spotify, that is everywhere podcasts are found. I was about to burp into the mic, and then I got one of the funniest comments I think I've ever gotten in my life, and I'm gonna try to find it and read it because it was hilarious. And the gents with me today have not heard this comment. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yeah, I got it, and I'm gonna bring it up right now, and I'm gonna put one more thing on my desktop. You
should see this thing.
Let me see if this is it. Is this it? No, that's not it. See, I'm glad I can't even find the shit that I'm trying to bring out here, but let's get into the show first. I'll find the screenshot. We'll talk about it on the side. It's a big thing. It's me. It's Winston. It's everybody here who does the show. And Koya, he's here, and we're gonna do some stuff. Yeah. It's the rewatch with dinosaurs. There's a car with a screaming kid. Ice cream time. Oh my god. Food. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. What are you laughing at?
I just had a joke that was too dark. If we can't drop F-bombs on this rewatch because of the kids, I definitely can't say this joke.
F-bombs?
True.
No,
It's true.
That fucking changed a long time ago.
Okay, the rules have changed.
I mean, it was a dark joke. I just, y'all, forgive me for this, y'all, but it's because Kristian's desktop looks like New Orleans after the levees broke, bruh.
See?
It's bad.
It's
bad. It is so bad.
It's actually one of the worst I've seen. Yeah. Like it's because there's just,
you know what,
it's at the
fucko,
corners,
all right, I'll tell you what, Coy. Have you ever looked at your YouTube channel? It looks like a potato has exploded every time you try to record yourself. You're going to talk to me about tech?
That's because I hate YouTube. Like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I hate that I'm stuck on YouTube because I can, like, interact with people that are assholes. Like, YouTube's the worst place for entertainment because you inherently want to shift your perspective based on others' opinions because we're too connected. So, like, YouTube's where talent goes to suffer.
Oh, that's nice.
Not to die, but to suffer.
Well, that's nice.
Here we
he
are
says on Kristian's YouTube channel.
But like we all know that like have the comments here is bad. He's like brave for answering everybody. I read one and I'm mad for 5 weeks. It's YouTube's dark.
It's not too bad. But look at this. This is my favorite thing that I've seen so far. Look, check this out. This is hilarious. Just your average Jose. I'm in the minority in this one, but I was listening to Big Thing in podcast form when you ripped a huge burp. Usually your burps are subtle, but this one was so annoying and disgusting that I unfollowed the podcast and unsubscribed on YouTube. I'll just check in here and there. I wrote back, this is fucking hilarious.
I like that he's still going to check in, though. He's like, we'll see how it goes.
I'll just check in and see.
I mean,
I'm not done.
I thought it was, I laughed so hard I sent it to Brett and Kate immediately.
That's, God.
I hope he checked in today. I hope he checked in.
There's only one thing to say to that. It was hilarious. I was like, I thought it was one of the best comments.
It's saved to the desktop.
Hilarious.
Did he think that this was NPR? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. Has he been?
Yeah, what is the show if not?
Did he find me like randomly?
Does he know that there's a song called "Party in the Fart Tower" that you got famous off of with Schmoes and Collider Live? Like, who the fuck did he think?
Did he miss the shit ass episode? Did he miss shit ass?
Did he miss shit ass?
Maybe it was before. I don't know. But either way, it was hilarious. All right,
man.
Jurassic Park. First, let's talk about before we get into the actual rewatch of the movie itself. The news came out the other day. They had mentioned that Doctor Strange is going to be the shortest phase. What phase are we in, Coy? Four. Shortest phase 4 movie at clocking in at like 1:22 or something. So it's just
2 hours, 6 minutes with credits. Means it's under 2 hours without credits.
Is it 1:26? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 1:26.
Okay. So yeah, that's right because Captain Marvel is like 1:24 or something.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's part one, which is okay. 2 hours. You're going to get a lot. I figured that one would be longer because of all the stuff they were going to do, but that's part one. Now we jump into what we're talking about here today. Jurassic World 3 clocks in at like almost 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. It's like
226.
2 hours and 26 minutes.
So it's 20 minutes longer than Doctor Strange.
So here's the thing with that. These are not detailed movies. Like, I understand why even something like the Batman, which we said was long, I understand why it was long. I don't think that it should have been as long as it was, but I get why they got there, right? Even that movie alone, even without the longer shots, still probably should have been around 226 with how detailed the story itself was.
Mm-hmm.
How many times you can see a dinosaur flying around and eat somebody?
Bro, did you please tell? Do y'all watch SNL?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please tell me you saw Pete Davidson's thing about a short ass movie.
And then Netflix changed it.
Oh, dude, he did a whole music video.
Oh, it's incredible.
With the musical guest and Chris Redd and all this stuff. And what's his name from? I think the guy that played Ernest.
Oh, Dirt Nasty.
Yes.
Yeah, Simon Rex. Dirt Nasty, man.
Yeah.
So they all do a music video, and you have to watch this thing, Kristian, because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
About a short ass movie. If I got to sit here longer than 2 hours, then we got a problem. And then bringing up how Jurassic Park, I think, was right at 2, right?
Yeah, it's right at 2. Well, it's
first one?
it's 206, I believe. I got it
But
out.
the first one, but as Pete breaks it down, he goes, in those 2 hours, you broke down not only how you're able to revive dinosaurs, you explained DNA and how that could be used on top of all the thrilling shit that came in between it. It was kind of earned. You're exactly right. This is what, the 6th Jurassic film?
We've established how we got
and
here.
you've seen the trailer already for it. It's not like this big elaborate thing. It's the dinosaurs are now starting to take over the real world. That needs to be 2 hours and a half. I'm telling you, because the first Jurassic World was just over 2 hours. The first Jurassic World, and I don't know where you guys stand on it. I like that movie. I think it was a fun like theme park ride. I thought it was fun. Second movie's bad. The Jurassic World 2.
Skipped the second one.
It's
I haven't seen
bad.
it.
Our first watch is going to be okay. Cool.
And let me tell you that movie, that's a first, you guys haven't seen it?
Haven't seen it yet.
It's bad. And the opening scene is actually really good. The opening scene of that movie is great. And I was like, oh, that's the kind of movie we're getting? And then I go, nah, not at all.
Hope you like the only fun you're going to have.
It's really bad, and it gets really stupid quick. It's a dumb movie. But, again, only around 2 hours. What I fear is that if this movie is as bad as the second movie, and I'm sitting there for an additional half an hour, I'm going to smash my head into the side of the wall.
Dude, look, it's one of those things that, like, I love doing these rewatches, even with films that I'm not super into. I just saw Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 for the first time, like in the last 4 to 6 months, something like that.
You have the most unique perspective of our generation, I think, where you didn't grow up with this. You didn't think it was the thing that you now see it as, and you only recently watched it with actually attentive eyes. So I know no one that has seen it that hadn't grown up with it. Like, I think you're the first, like, you're a variable. So I'm really curious what you experienced, because it's such a pop culture staple. You grew up seeing the movies that were influenced by it, and then only recently saw the source material, so to speak.
No, for sure. You were right. I am 1,000% the control here as far as what do these films mean not being directly injected into pop culture. Now, mind you, I had seen clips of Jurassic Park before. I had seen the acid spitting one,
Right. I mean, it's hard to avoid it.
Right.
It's part of the culture. Like, it's
the water when it's shaking on. Of course, that's just stuff that is, as you said, is
it's my first movie I remember in
culture.
theaters. I remember seeing this and I was 5. Wow. And then because my parents had me in 16. They were like 21s. They wanted to go see it. My 21-year-old parents brought their 5-year-old. I luckily turned out sane. Yeah, had me at 16, man. I turned out ish. But it's really interesting that that movie was this and Aladdin were kind of my childhood. So I had all the dinosaur toys, but I also had all the Aladdin toys, and it was raised as this was just as fine. And then I hit 13, was like, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I was just cool.
Well, that's what I think that was why I was so confused, is because I haven't really done the horror thing ever, and for me it was just always presented as this scary movie, and so I was just like, I'm good.
The book is significantly scarier than the movie, and more brutal, and I understand why they toned it down, because they wanted, and it worked obviously, because they wanted to make it this big blockbuster thing. We remember in '93 how this was revolutionary when it came to effects.
I still think it's still one of the best,
especially for '93. Again, for the year that it came out. I mean, come on, it's massive. But I remember reading the book, and I think I read the book that summer. I remember being with my dad in Florida when I saw it. I definitely saw it in Florida, but I remember leading up to it because all the hype behind it. It was a Spielberg movie, and it was this very popular book. And I read the book, and I remember thinking, wow, this book is creepy. They're going to do this book, and they didn't do it this way. But I still remember liking it very much, and it's also had to do with a lot of the performances themselves, right? And when you look at and I think even watching again, watching this movie recently with my daughter, the performances hold up, and it's. I mean, I still think that the only one to me is very 90s and still throws you and says this is a movie is what's his face from Seinfeld.
Newman. Yeah.
Newman's
and the lawyer has a bit of that, like, well, I'm evil. Like those two.
Yeah, those two.
But overall,
especially Newman is he's so wonderfully annoying in this movie, but he's such a movie character. He's not real at all.
Yeah,
no,
that's fair.
For sure. I mean, the funny thing is even seeing that Samuel L. Jackson hasn't even like developed his quote unquote style yet.
Right.
He's young here.
He's so young. He doesn't have a lot of those Samuel L. isms. Like he's just kind of playing the character, and he's like kind of discovering it as he goes.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
and you see the birth of those isms kind of in this movie because there's some of the lines that he would have added like something to
an
now, but you're like, oh wait, this
So
is
now if he says this, hold on to your butts, motherfuckers.
Exactly.
But you hear the implied one.
Hold on to your asses, motherfuckers.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
Well, it's true.
Here it's all subtext. You can you hear that he's thinking it.
No, it's true. But this one is it's a little bit because it comes off this source material. That it has a bit of a mixture of what I was talking about before, where it is this intellectual story and it is this kind of complex story, but mixed with the big blockbuster, and it works very well, and that's why it's as popular as it was. Then when you start to get into the Jurassic World, it's like you're just basing it off of what has come before you, I don't know. They very well could have made novels afterwards, but it wasn't based off like the Crichton stuff that
Game of Thrones problem.
Right.
Went on their own.
Right. So either way, like this, the movie itself, starting out with the raptor inside of the cage, and just that it's classic Spielberg, right? Of they not showing you anything up top, just scaring the piss out of you right away, knowing that what the hell are we gonna see? Like I remember seeing that as a kid, and you're like, oh my god.
Well, that was the other thing that I think always threw me off. Why, as an adult, it took me so long to finally sit down and go, let me sit and just watch this movie. The premise of just like, I have so much money, I'm going to make a city destroying dinosaur because I can. Like, it's
too real.
It was a premise where I was like, I don't know if I can subscribe. Like, what possesses your brain to make any of these like if you want to make all
But then post 2016, you're like, oh, there's actually people doing that. We should go to Mars and help the homeless.
The science behind it, I thought, was pretty.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the science that they used to explain it. I'm saying the fact that a rich dude goes, you know what I really want to do? Make dinosaurs that will murder people.
You've seen the robots coming out of Boston, right?
That's not his intention. His intention is not right. So I can understand why, as a billionaire, he would want to do that because he would do because he thinks he's going to be able to. That's the whole premise of the movie is the fact that he thinks he's going to be able to control it. And Goldblum's character is like, don't play God, man, because there's a reason they went extinct in the first place. And I thought that stuff and the idea behind it, and I love the fact that they use the scientist that's in this, that he comes back in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
But see, I like that stuff. I love I think that's the whole the idea of that we as humans, and because we have money and power, it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It means nothing.
I agree with you on that premise. I guess what it is that I was so from the jump, just right behind Jeff Goldblum, being like, yeah. Why are you doing this?
So
we based our whole entrance off this concept.
Exactly.
This is how our team was born.
Do you understand? Do you understand that entrance a little bit more now?
I mean, I knew I had seen it at that point.
Yeah.
Like, but so what I'm saying is specifically for this film.
Yeah.
Even though I saw it, I want to say when I was maybe like 25.
Okay.
Something like that. So almost a decade.
But this is the first time you really kind of locked into it.
I paid attention.
Yeah.
I sat down and said, "Let me put all of my
subtitles
focus
or no
movie."
subtitles.
No subtitles.
I like to for the rewatches. I put subtitles.
Oh,
on.
it's smart.
Yeah.
It's
Catch
smart.
the details.
Yeah.
Maybe I had them on. It's hard to tell sometimes because depending on what platform you're watching it on,
it.
Sometimes the subtitles are lagging.
Yeah.
And
I can't tell when I can read before. Like if I'm hearing the words and I've already read them, it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm ahead.
But here's the thing. I totally understand why it has spawned the franchise that it has spawned. Sure. I totally understand why it's revered as one of the greatest films in history. It is so well done from top to bottom, from the acting to, like you said, the special effects as far as like having a practical dinosaur. And I've seen a lot of those behind the scenes before.
Dinosaur.
A practical dinosaur. Yeah. But then also moments of like CGI kick in, but you don't go, oh God! Like you can tell.
It's 90, right? But it's not. It's but again, because it's 93, I think you can tell. But it's not so much that you can tell. You're like, this is terrible.
Exactly.
No, it's like it's almost like the grandfather of what we get today. All this technology that has come out is essentially because of a lot of what not only T2 did leading into like this, but it's the pun intended evolution of it all of the CGI. But Corey, we rewatching it. Sam Neill and Laura Dern still steal the show in this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think what's really interesting is that you've got a balance of leads that actually feel like an ensemble, but you've got people that I think you're drawn to. It's kind of like This Is Us. Like when you watch This Is Us, you identify with certain characters, so that story keeps you in the other subplots. And I feel like I always identify with Jeff Goldblum because he's this like chaos incarnate that's like really, really smart, but no one knows how to handle him because he's so much. And as someone that's always tried to like reframe my worldview to like kind of tame myself to other people's perceptions, I always was like, oh, Ian Malcolm, like that's my guy, because everyone's like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, I get that. So I always felt like he was my guy. And then I love that Sam Neill was like a curmudgeonly man that didn't want kids, that identified with kids in a very stoic way, and his arc is just about accepting humanity through fearing for humanity. I love that his journey he goes on is seeing that kids are worth their while because he believes in humanity through the loss of it. And that's a really beautiful arc, and Laura Dern plays this really maternal energy without ever sacrificing her intelligence. And in 93, that's a hard balance to walk. This is one of, I've only given 18 films in the history of cinema 5 stars. This is one of, I think, a perfect film.
I don't think she gets enough credit on every single time people talk about, I mean, people always talk about how good she is in the movie, but people never really talk when they bring up like Ripley. Like it's always Ripley. Sigourney Weaver's character is always brought up. Laura Dern's character is she really is, and even the intro with it's how geeky both her and Sam Neill are together. Alan, right? They're so geeky together, and what they really love, and even that whole scene where, and I liked, and I thought the writing of it is pretty fun too. When Sam Neill's with the little kid, and he's showing that he doesn't have this affection towards kids, and then he's got to have this relationship throughout it, and she sees this in him. There's a lot
and
of
later
stuff.
on the female to female belt buckle, like the female to female is how they create this reproduction, and he's got to like belt himself in, and that's a visual metaphor for both the arc of the dinosaurs and for the arc of Alan caring about kids. It's genius.
No, I agree with you. And the funny thing is I think I know why people don't maybe revere her as much as they do Ripley. And I think part of that is that you get all the intelligence side of it. You get a lot of that like standard, as anybody would, but like kind of the standard like oh my God, like the hand falls, no, like you get that, right? You don't see her the way Ripley is like, I'm about to murder these aliens.
Oh, very different.
You don't get to see her do that to a dinosaur where she's like, know what, I'm tired of your shit. And then like
she's a little bit more like it's more real. As like I said, where Newman is not. Newman's running around from there's that whole kind of cartoony thing when he's running around from the little dinosaurs. It's just cute, but it's so silly when he's such an idiot. And it's like how does he get out there in the first place?
He's the only guy that knows MS-DOS. He's the only guy that can hack MySpace.
Also, you gotta love how the girl's like, I'm a hacker. And she's just like, boop.
Touching the touchscreen correctly.
Right.
Yeah, she's hacking that mainframe. This is just like 94's hackers. They didn't Jolie, just like buttons.
And it's funny because I don't think there's anyone who loves this movie more than Perry Nemiroff. And I remember when I was at Collider, I used to kind of give her a little bit of shit sometimes. I'm like, I love John Williams, but that theme is clearly stolen from Peter Pan. And when you look at and you listen to some old interviews, he definitely got to me. It's dun 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 dun, and it's the dun 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 dun. That's you can fly, you can fly, you can fly, you can fly. It's dun 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 dun.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
I love how you hear scores because you always, every time we do one of these, I learn a new thing about the background music. You have a really good ear for that, man.
I was gonna say, were you a musician?
My brother was.
The Many Lives of Kristian Harloff every week.
He always told me that I hear music the same way that he did, and I was like, I do. I respond to music very much so, and I remember listening to Jurassic, and it's like, I'm like, that's Peter Pan. And I think I Googled it, and there was something about it. Not necessarily John Williams didn't steal it, obviously, but he was certainly inspired by it because and when you think about the connection of the Peter Pan We Can Fly plus this, it's that never growing up type thing, and going into that park and being a child of the fascination with dinosaurs and all this. So I understand maybe that's where he got the inspiration from. But the rest of it, dun 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 dun, dun, that part is that's a John Williams score. It's just that one particular riff that I think it's fitting, and
it's one of the most memorable scores. Period. Like, you hear a piece of Jurassic Park, you know it.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff that is inspired by other things, not just in movies in general, but in music. So, but I just thought that was a pretty fun fact, and that's like a video that when people are doing these little shorts on YouTube. That's one that I think that I should probably do.
Yeah, I'd never heard that, and I loved it. It's one of my 5 stars. Like, I'd never put that together.
That would probably launch you because you just hit 40 recently, didn't you?
I hit 40,000 on this channel, and we just hit 50,000 on TikTok for
SCHMOEDOWN. That will probably launch this up.
About 5 people.
5 to 7.
You'd catch about 5K off of that.
Yeah, I'd throw that on TikTok, man.
TikTok,
make that your first little
explode.
Yeah,
I'll try it.
Make that your first on because you haven't done TikTok yet.
I'm not trying anything. Just I got too much shit going on. Yesterday I tried. I had this fucking huge list of the stuff that I wanted to do yesterday. I think I got through like 43% of it.
Yeah, I got 17 items today.
I'm right there with you. I told you what's going on with work beforehand. Yeah. I literally was like, great. I got my day. Like, oh fuck. Okay, well here we are.
I did because I did the Moon Knight. I did the Moon Knight spoiler review yesterday, and I was like, I wanted to get that thing up at like 8 in the morning. Wound up getting up at like 3, and then I'm like, all right, Sith Council, and then all this MTS stuff, and I was like, I to this day, to right now, I still have not shot Sith Council. Probably when we get the stupid thing going. All right, listen, we got more to talk about with Jurassic.
We got a
lot to talk about. Before we do that, I also wanted to tell you guys, and I don't know if Coy, have you heard about Athletic Greens?
It is delightful.
It's good.
This is one I enjoy.
It is. Oh, Winston, you can love it. Athletic Greens, and Brett Sheridan was really talking to me about this stuff. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And so Athletic Greens, which is our partner, it is a product now that I'm using all the time. And I started using Athletic Greens because I didn't have a lot of time to do the vitamins, and I wanted to kind of combine. I was like, okay, hearing that it combines everything with one shot. And it doesn't, and it's one of those things where it's healthy things never taste good. It's true. But it just doesn't taste like it's super healthy. It's got like a mild tropical taste, and I look forward to having it every morning. So what the hell is it? People are asking. Winston right now is like, what is this?
Yes.
Well, with one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sources, superfoods, probiotics to help you start your day right. The special blend of ingredients support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy. It recovers focus and aging, all of the things that you need. Now, for me, I got kids, man, and I'm out of gas pretty quick. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to start consuming it, and I take it in the morning, and I'm moving. And it benefits me because, like I said, I'm constantly working, I'm doing these things, and I gotta be on top of my game. So I've been telling all my friends and family about it. So it is lifestyle friendly, whether you eat if you're vegan, dairy free, gluten free, all of it. It contains less than 1 gram of sugar. No nasty chemicals or artificial anything, and it still tastes good. It supports better sleep quality and recovery. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. Athletic Greens has 7,000 5-star reviews recommended by professional athletes. It's trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Gervais. Right now, it is time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/bigthing. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/bigthing, and take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It's delicious too. I'm a fan, man.
Yeah, it's.
That sounds pretty great.
I'm back in my health kick. That lockdown put on some pounds I don't love, so I'm back in my jam.
I feel you. My nutritionist has me on some probiotics and.
It's got all this stuff,
I'm jealous
man.
of that. That's awesome.
It's got all this stuff.
That was Kristen's idea. I appreciate her doing that. It's been helpful.
This nutritionist is Kristen.
Speaking of
Her idea, and it's her. She's taking care of me.
My nutritionist.
I've got it right here. If you want to see, it's through a program, but it's like I have like calls with her. She sends me recipes. I have to do check-ins.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Great.
Love that. So like a remote nutritionist,
this
you
we
like
do.
check in?
Speaking of nutrition, though,
Did she approve that?
Jurassic Park.
just sticking the hand right in a giant turd.
Dude.
That's how you get probiotics, man.
Like, fam, she was a little too excited about it. Like, at that point,
They cut out the original line. She said, "Oh, duty," and she went over to it.
Some people like scat play, man. You gotta live.
Look at Coy talking about personal experience here.
I'm just saying, everybody's got their kinks. Somebody's making moves. Tomato.
But it was but all of that stuff that they did with the dinosaurs, like leading up to it, that's the slow build to the chaos is what's so good about the movie. Like the leading into the park and going to the park and seeing all the stuff, the scene with the goat with the T-Rex leading up to that's
thriller.
the big monster.
It's so
it
tense.
is. It just sets it up like really, really well. It's just, that's why I think it still holds up.
It's just I think the one thing that gets confusing is that like you kind of get the thing where they just barely escape because the dinosaurs just happen to have turned on each other. You know what I mean? And
But like that's nature, right?
Yeah.
Like you see lions do that all the time, where they're like pursuing, and then this is your prey.
No. I get that. Well,
Well, dinosaurs don't turn on each other. They're just let into. Remember, it's like so. Right now, if you go to a zoo,
Open the gates. They're gonna
but
eat each other.
The bears aren't with the lions.
No,
if the bears are with the lions,
I
they're going
disagree with you.
Start some
it's
shit.
Just that like it felt that's the only part of it, and it happens. I get it. It's the only part of it that feels very Deus Ex Machina, where it's just like, well, this is it, y'all. Surrounded by the raptors, we screwed. The T-Rex just happens to pop in and eat one of them, and now the raptors are fighting the T-Rex. Like, that's the luckiest shit I have ever seen.
Oh, you mean at the moment when they need
literally
it?
the very end.
That's definitely movie.
Hello,
even that whole. I mean, it's right on the nose at the very end when the T-Rex comes in and he's roaring, but the banner falls when dinosaurs ruled the earth. I mean, it's like it's but like all that, and I think that's why the shift needs to be. Because this is what it did very well, the first movie, and then they tried to do this like 4 different times throughout the franchise. It's like it's a park that you're supposed to visit, but everyone's telling you don't do it because because the dinosaurs are going to evolve, and there's a reason why they were extinct, and all hell breaks loose. Great premise, we got it, good. And then in the second movie, from what I remember, I got to say, I haven't watched the second movie. I hated the second movie so much. I'm very
like
very
the second,
about it.
hate the third.
So it's funny because I remember thinking that the third was better, but anyway.
That's why we're rewatching.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in so long. But and then Jurassic World goes back to the park, blowing up
Structure, basically,
the structure again. And I'm like, when are they going to go to Planet of the Apes? Because they almost do it at the end of 2, kind of Jurassic Park 2. But it's like, just let the damn dinosaurs take over already, if that's what ultimately we're getting to. And it looks like that's what we're doing in this movie coming up.
The trailers for this, the most excited I've been since Lost World.
Yeah.
And I definitely thought 3 was a downslide, and then I did not like World enough that I skipped World 2. So this to me looks like Jurassic Park
World
again.
2 is the farts.
The trailer
really
was
is.
like, we brought the kids for the exploding volcano vacation. Like, why would you bring children to an exploding volcano vacation?
Dude,
For the
that
same
part, that's not
reason-
even, that's 3 seconds of the movie. And what you're
I've only seen the trailers.
what you're about to get into in Jurassic World 2 is so stupid. It's such a stupid movie. But anyway, Jurassic Park.
Are we shocked though? Because when we get to 3, it was like, what happened? Well, I just let his uncle take him parasailing next to some dinosaurs and
Jurassic
straight
World
ate
3.
his ass. Like,
I know it's funny. I don't remember a lot of the other movies. Like and I think that's a testament to Jurassic Park 1, right?
It's
Is
so
that
strong.
I've seen Jurassic Park 1, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 times, who knows? Right? I've seen it many times. The other ones once.
Well,
Twice,
the first one
3
does-
times I made it.
I think it's a perfect slow build to those moments that are earned. Like,
Only
I
Winston
think
got that one.
did not get that
Eddie
one
Murphy.
right here.
Eddie Murphy.
copy. It just was so out of left field.
Because I said, I heard myself say it. It's like once, twice, 3 times I made it. It's the absolute best. I love it.
There's no coming back for Winston from Eddie Murphy joke in the middle of Jurassic Park.
Dude, you have to see it.
You gotta see it.
Eddie Murphy, like
Which
but
special is this?
But no, it's Saturday Night Live. But he played Buckwheat, and he did, and it was because Buckwheat was such a racist character, and
Right.
and Eddie Murphy just went all in on it.
Which is why him coming back and doing it for his return to SNL after like 20 years was also hilarious because he brought Buckwheat back. That's the thing, Buckwheat can't sing songs properly.
No, because his voice it's just off, right? Yeah. And so he's but you know those songs that they used to do, those albums, like if you buy the album now, you'll get such hits.
Yeah.
And then he would Wookin' Panub is the other Wookin' Panub and all the wrong pace. It's hilarious. Eddie Murphy was like one of the best. Oh, he's so good.
It was so funny.
But anyway,
Jurassic World.
As
Eddie
I said,
Murphy.
once or twice I've seen. How many times I've seen those other movies, but this one I've seen so many, and I can watch it again and again, and I'm gonna watch it. My youngest loves dinosaurs. Loves that. She's not ready yet for Jurassic Park, but when she is, I feel like this is gonna be.
How old's your oldest that you watched it with?
Oh, she's 10.
Okay, yeah,
she's 10.
She
watched the first one when she was like 5 or 6.
So that was when I watched it in theaters, and I remember it's funny. The second one scared me, but the first one didn't, because I think I was older, so I had more sense of the world.
Sure.
Whereas the first one I had it memorized, so I wasn't scared. Whereas I had a VHS of The Lost World with that hologram cover, and I remember putting it in the VCR and building a fort to protect myself from the raptors, but watching it in the fort. So I was like 9, afraid, but I'd do it to myself because I wanted to be scared of the raptors, because the raptors in the second one are terrifying.
Yeah. Well, the raptors are pretty terrifying.
They're so smart.
It's terrifying in this
They're
one.
smart in the first one. But
I'd memorized
they
it.
open doors.
Dude,
Yeah,
every sequence in this is so memorable. Like, that sequence is memorable. The chase with the Ian Malcolm in the back. Like, every action set piece is incredible.
Well, that's what I liked about the movie in general, is that you didn't know, because it's like we have this idea of what dinosaurs were and what they did, and then this is what the main characters have to go through. Like, the experts know a lot about them because of what they've done with archaeology and how they were able to study them, but they've never been around an actual living, breathing dinosaur. So when they see him and learning all these habits, they're fascinated by it. But like, that's why the lawyer gets eaten like a snack, because he doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know how to not track and all that.
The moment that gets me with that too,
in a good way or bad way?
In a good way.
Yeah.
It's how traumatized the little girl is, because she's like, he just left us, and literally then Grant having to be like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
I don't fucks with kids, but I promise you,
I'm
not still a good dude.
I'm not a bad dude. I'm not gonna leave you. And then that's why I thought the character work and the way that they set it up and the story, giving you that little setup that he's not a kid's guy, but then he becomes one because of the adventure and the trauma that they all kind of go to together, and it's also when the stampedes happen, they run away from the stampede, nobody falls. Of course, it is
electric fence scene.
Come on, but still, it's a movie.
Ooh, Lord.
Electric fence scene, like endearing them together, like that moment, the bravery of the kid.
When the kid gets shocked,
he's paternal, he feels that,
and he's okay. It's like,
I think this is the
10,000 volts, like
that kid's dead.
He's toast,
bro.
Not even a scar.
I think this is the
like
best.
Deadpool.
Like, he should. This is the best Spielberg amalgamation, right? Like, Spielberg's the blockbuster guy, but he's also the Amblin guy, and he's also the. So this to me is like Spielberg at the height of his powers, all playing at once. Like, he figured out his equalizer, because the kid performances are great. All the blockbustery stuff he did with Jaws is great. All the E.T. Amblin stuff. To me, this is the peak Spielberg film, and that's why I think it's had a hard time finding sequels, because how do you do what Spielberg does masterfully again?
Well, he did the second one though.
Yeah, but he was trying to be himself.
trying to
You know what I mean?
The second one again,
still better than 3, 4, and 5.
I think personally, the second one works with some moments where I'm like,
I need to watch
it.
Again. I need to watch it.
Like the random gymnastics.
That's the part I think
everyone remembers.
That's what I always go back to.
Yeah,
because it's the only thing I remember in the movie is how stupid that was.
I mean, you did a good job as far as filmmaking, that you buried the lead and you kind of teased it where you're like, yeah, she's a gymnast, she'd be killing it, she might be going to the Olympics. But the way you then ended up using it was just
that's
unnecessary.
That's when you have like one of those videos of like what would really happen. Then the dinosaur just opens his mouth and eats the kid.
Movie's over 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's over. But we'll get into that when we have to. But the score, the action, the tone, I think, is what's so good about this movie, is because it allows it is the, as Coy was just saying about Spielberg, how it's kind of peak Spielberg. This is a peak blockbuster movie where movies like this, in '93 when it comes out, you're not going up against Marvel films and DC films and Star Wars. You are the genre,
right?
It's blockbusters were like, it was just open field, man. What's the blockbuster that's going to hit? And Jurassic Park said, get out of the way, because here we
Get out of here.
Get out of the way.
Get out of here.
Let's see if
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit.
that's the part Winston likes. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit.
It's the R's. It's the hard R's in there.
It's really good. But either way, so that's why it's harder to do movies. But because of Jurassic Park, and because now it is its own, as we just mentioned,
genre.
Yes, now that we
billion-dollar box office still.
It's its own IP. You know, so like when Jurassic Park came out, it was like, what is this? The book? Now it's like when you say they're making another Jurassic Park movie, 6 or 7 in, and I think there's other movies too that, even though Die Hard, right, and of course now you're not going to be able to do a Die Hard, but Die Hard. Became one of those movies where, and Terminator, even though the sequels are not, but there's still, it's always Alien is, and it's always like, okay, you're kind of crossing your fingers that it's going to be essentially what happened with Jurassic Park, because after Jurassic Park 3, and then they bring Jurassic World, and you're like, who the hell wants to see another one of these? Then it makes $1 billion, and now it's revitalized again.
And no one really made other dinosaur movies. Like, you don't see a lot of other dinosaurs. It's not like it's not like Alien, which caused other sci-fi aliens movies. You don't see a lot of dino movies.
Because the second you do it, you're like, you just trying to be
Jurassic
Park.
Exactly, and it's that much of an IP that it's the entire market.
Yes.
The three closest, I guess, but they were already established, are both Godzilla and King Kong.
And that's very different marketing and very different style. And
then Rampage. But that was obviously, you're looking at a video game, less focused on the,
And it's really focused on The Rock just having an excuse to like have different big things around him.
And shoot in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a lot of convenient IP for The Rock to be like, I'd like to stay home, I'd like things bigger than me, and I'd like cool things that'll be toys.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the new blockbuster. What's The Rock want to do?
Whatever the hell he wants to do.
But that was different in the 90s. Like, we had to shape things around the story.
So, well, no. In the 90s, that's the thing, is that the 90s were still the movie stars era. Like, in the 90s and the 2000s, like
I think Jurassic Park was against the mold, though, is what I'm saying.
Sure,
like, this was an IP without a giant.
Well, remember, what the difference is, right now, there are a few directors, whether it's a Christopher Nolan, a Tarantino, Scorsese, like these people still, that you'll go into the theater because it's their movie. Right?
Yeah.
Spielberg has had that for a long time. Spielberg had that in 93.
He was the movie star.
He was the guy. He was the one, because you're like, it's a new Spielberg movie, and what's he doing? He's doing a thing about dinosaurs. And he's doing, because you're right, Jeff Goldblum's probably the biggest name in that movie at the time, right?
Interesting.
I mean, who else?
The Fly, right?
Yeah,
At
The
that
Fly.
point, he had just
He's
come
done
off
it.
The Fly.
Well, no, The Fly was about 10 years removed at that point. But
Was The Fly 83?
85.
I don't know why I thought it was like
86.
I don't know why I thought it was like 87.
86.
Okay.
So, but still, that's still 7 years removed, right?
Sure.
So, but he was the biggest name, but not a massive movie star by any means. It was absolutely what Coy was saying. It was a Spielberg thing, but the movie star was very much a thing. Whether it was in 93, it was right before.
Was that a Van Damme era?
Van Damme was probably
Jackie
on the
Chan.
tail end. Actually, I mean, look, Will Smith was about to come out. You can make all the jokes you want, but like he was
Eddie
in
Murphy.
94. Eddie Murphy. I mean, tons.
SNL's Eddie Murphy.
Tom Cruise was still doing his thing, in 93. This is when you have Few Good Men and
Tom
and
Cruise
everything.
was, yeah.
I mean, shit, Val Kilmer in 92, 93 was pretty big. So,
Cocktail and Top Gun.
yeah, Julia Roberts, obviously, in 93.
When was Heat?
Sandra
Heat was
Bullock,
95.
not yet.
Okay.
Sandra
Bullock,
not yet.
yeah, Sandra Bullock was.
This is post Pretty Woman, right?
No. Sandra
Pretty
Bullock.
Woman
No,
is
you're right.
Roberts.
93 was Demolition Man, so she was right when she popped. Because 94 is when she started to get notification with Speed.
That's what I was saying.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was the next year.
Yeah, so even
that was
Keanu
her.
Reeves hadn't
Yeah.
popped. But my point is,
Bill and Ted popped, not action popped.
But everything that you just mentioned, it was still, movies were still vessels to create
Yes.
movie stars.
Correct. Yeah,
because Sandra Bullock then turned into a bigger movie star, Keanu Reeves, and so on and so on and so on. But now it's more so. It's very much so about IP and because you look at Robert Downey Jr., which you talked about. He's the biggest. One of the biggest box office movie stars because of Iron Man.
Yeah.
None of his movies pop besides. I mean, he's laughing all the way to the bank. What the hell does he care? But
But Doolittle, his lawyer movie, the
Yeah,
things
none of
he's
those
producing,
movies.
it's not the same.
None of those movies work. So it's just a different era. But the fact that Spielberg was doing what he's doing and now built up that IP, which was the original point, was that Jurassic Park now was in a place after Jurassic Park 3 where nobody wanted to see it. It does $1 billion. Now it goes back into the zeitgeist, So
I think part of that, though, man, is time. I think you needed time and being so far removed from Jurassic Park 3 to Jurassic World.
Yeah, because you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I'll try another one.
In the same way that, like, I don't, like, Revenge of the Sith did pretty decent, but I don't think that people were still pretty turned off by how the prequels had kind of turned out at the time. That I think you needed some time before you came.
For when? What year? For which?
I'm just talking about, like, even if you take it out of this franchise and go over to like Star Wars,
right.
How like when we finished the prequels, people were like, man, damn. And you gave it some time, and not only did they grow on us a little bit, but you also had a scenario that once we got to Force Awakens, now we're like, dude, it's been like a decade. I am so ready.
I need another one. Yeah, sure. I think you're right, and I think that, and similar to that point, is that generations grow up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when the generations grow up, they want to see more of their stuff like that they loved when they were kids. So you very much so with that prequel reference you were just talking about, that there's people that when they're 5 or 6 love the prequels, and then when they get to be 20, 26 and they hear someone talking shit on it, it's like, no, the prequels are great. And then it's amazing how the opinion starts to change a bit, right? And I think Jurassic Park is a movie, Jurassic Park, the first one, is a movie where adults, kids, everyone loved it. So the reputation of it always stayed here, but the other sequels were the ones that started to fall, even from the kids that saw later on in life.
And I think 14 years between 3 and World is that generation gap of nostalgia.
Years?
Yeah,
Wow.
It was 2001, 2015.
Wow.
So it's a huge leap. So you have
it
a
is.
full generation of like, oh, now I'm nostalgic. And now a lot of the executives that grew up on that movie that were maybe in their teens are now working at the studios.
Right.
And then they can push it through.
Or they
and
were
then it becomes-
assistants. or
Yeah,
something.
and they've been there long enough to
100%.
actually cause that change.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it happened because everyone in that movie is a giant Jurassic Park fan. That's how you get these next waves.
No, I get that. What I appreciate about World, I know you said you didn't love it all that much. I appreciate that you finally gave us a situation where if this is about dinosaurs, that we had a dinosaur to actually give a shit about, if that makes sense.
Like a focus.
Yeah, because like
You didn't care about T-Rex in the first one?
No, because he was trying to eat all of the people I actually care about.
That's the conflict.
But what I'm saying is then like now that you get Blue in World,
Yeah.
now there's
more like pets for you.
It's sort of, and it doesn't even, whether it's a pet or not, I have an emotional connection to that dinosaur.
Oh, that's
whereas I
interesting.
don't have them to the rest, other than being like, wow, that's a crazy monster. Like, there's not a point where the T-Rex goes, I'm so sorry for all the trouble I have caused you.
Alan!
And then, like,
Well, but you know what it reminds me? It kind of reminds me of Jaws a little bit too.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what I personally, that's what I liked about the older ones is I never wanted to feel for the dinosaurs. I wanted to feel for the humans because I thought the dinosaurs were cool. I like objectively being aware of something being awesome but not positive because a lot of things that are awesome aren't positive. Like extreme anything is a negative, as we were talking about with someone making dinosaurs instead of helping people. Anything extreme is scary. So I like the idea of being objectively afraid of sharks, of jaguars, of things that are cool on paper. But if you go to the jungle, you should be afraid of the puma.
Well, Winston, I have a
You know what I
question
mean?
for you. Which of those dinosaurs? And I want you to hold on this. Which of those dinosaurs do you think gets the most tail? And in order to think about that for real, is which one uses JOYMODE? And I'll tell you that. JOYMODE, ladies and gentlemen, JOYMODE. If you didn't know, we've been talking about JOYMODE on the show for quite a bit, and it is it's something that you all should know about because a lot of times, and I've talked about this you're walking in a gas station, you look over and you go, oh man, look at those pills right there. I'm going to try them. Those really horribly branded erection pills. You know them. They're tempting. I know that they are. But if you ever look into them and you see what's actually in those products, oh boy, are they bad for you. The same goes for most of the products in the market that claim to help men in the bed who want to try this. And they go, who the hell wants to get a 4-hour hard-on? Because you get nasty side effects, heart problems, and then good luck explaining that once you get to the hospital. JOYMODE is here to save the day, and whether you're unhappy with what's going on behind closed doors, or you're unhappy, or you're not even just unhappy, if you just want to perform better, JOYMODE's Sexual Performance Booster, it's like pre-workout, but it's for sex. So wouldn't you rather just take a supplement designed to spice things up naturally rather than a prescription drug that can have harmful effects down the road? That's what JOYMODE does. It makes natural and science-backed sexual wellness products for men. The Sexual Performance Booster, it's like a pre-workout, and it's for sex. It was created because the products on the market, they're not good for you. And they knew that they could do better. Prescriptions come out with all side effects and over-the-counter gas station pills. They're sketchy and they're fraudulent, to be honest. But lots of guys take both because they don't have a better option. Now you do. Here's how you use it. You simply just tear open the sachet, and you mix it with 6 to 8 ounces of water, just like your favorite electrolyte packet. For best use, consume it anywhere from 45 minutes to 4 hours prior to sexual activity. You'll notice better blood flow, better erection quality and firmness, and increased sexual energy and drive. You want to spice things up in the bedroom and boost the sexual performance? Do it naturally without nasty prescription drugs. We have a very special offer for the Big Thing audience. Is there ever more of an appropriate sponsor for this show, The Big Thing, than JOYMODE, for God's sakes? Go to usejoymode.com/bigthing or enter Big Thing at checkout for 20% off your first order. That is joymode.com/bigthing for 20% off your first order. And thank you, JOYMODE. Winston's going to be happy because I got a packet for him.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you saying?
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
See?
There's that dinosaur activation right there.
That's right.
Are you saying this
Kristian
is
calls
how
out of work
life
for the next
finds a way? Because I feel like this is how life finds a way. That's why she wanted to have a nutrition. She wants to they get that endurance.
Look,
that running game.
I'll be real with you, man. You can get you some JOYMODE and get your ass to the gym.
That's it. That's right there. That's the magic.
You need to do. It just magically.
Neighbor walks by. I saw a tree trunk chasing some woman.
Keep your man or woman happy.
I got a preview of Jurassic World Dominion. That shit was
That wasn't a dinosaur.
It's an Apatosaurus. Now it's Winston. He got some JOYMODE in him.
Dude, I'm so excited. Thank you for that, man. We're for Easter weekend. We're going on. We've never been on vacation together. We've gone on like
there you go.
We've gone on like group trips and stuff like that.
Just
but
you
we've
and her,
never
never
just gone on a vacation. So we're doing that.
Let me show
Where
you.
you going?
Let me show you the difference of.
Probably Big Bear.
Nice.
Oh,
Your
here you
picture's
go.
perfect. That's me dope.
Let me show you the difference between a single guy and what he gets excited about and a married guy. Okay? Single guy is very excited to go on a vacation at Big Bear, which I would be as well. All I'm thinking about for Easter is a big ziti coming my way. That is the only thing. I've been smelling it in the hallway, and there's not even any tomato cans opened up.
But I got to say, to answer your question, though, I think Dilophosaurus, man. Dilophosaurus guy with JOYMODE. He's like presentational. He's got that spitter energy. He's got those bright colors. I think Dilophosaurus fucks.
That
was a T-shirt. It was a T-shirt.
I think Dilophosaurus fucks.
They discontinued it.
He straight up gives facials too,
Right?
bro. Like,
he's about it. He spits. He might swallow, but he definitely
That's what I'm
spits.
putting in the description of this video. We talk dinosaurs and facials.
Dinosaurs and facials. It's just a little more toxic.
Dinosaur bukkake, bro. Like, it's just
Newman couldn't handle the kink, man.
Winston's girlfriend is either going to call me up and curse me out or send me Christmas presents.
Oh no, you're getting a Christmas card. That's definitely getting a Christmas card.
JOYMODE?
Yeah.
Probably,
You gotta go. We're about to go to Dilophosaurus in Easter,
probably
man.
one in both hand, one in the other to be like, God damn you, fucking Christian. Thank you, you stupid son of a bitch.
Well, we'll see. I should be thanking me. Either way,
It's gonna be limping like Laura Dern in that Raptor scene. That one leg hobble.
before he even takes the package.
and then
She's going
it
to
gets
see the
real.
package. She's going to realize.
And they're just gonna feel like the other kid.
No,
on the
Winston's
fence.
going to be like the T-Rex with the water. After he takes it, the water's going to be shaking.
I'm gonna start off by over her shoulder like Samuel Jackson's arm. Just
He's going to take the package and here, hold on to your butt.
oh God.
I hope JOYMODE makes this their whole ad campaign. Just click this out.
100%. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. I'll tell you, I tried it myself and I was like, okay. Yeah, I didn't need it, but I was like, same reason. It was what sold me on it was the idea of you looking at it like
a pre-workout,
as opposed to. And I'm not telling you, look, if you have problems, then definitely
even
try
better.
it out. But if you don't, it's just one of those things like, hey, you're gonna lift some weights? We'll use those and you lift them a little better.
Dibs on the next packet. We'll have at the end of the next round we'll have a
you have to be
commentary.
able to use them on somebody. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I got
I'm
options.
kidding. I know
Bro.
you don't know.
Bro.
I know, you're like, I go to the premieres with this guy. He's doing all right. He's doing all right. It's true. Why do you think he posts those pictures of Gyllenhaal? He gets 5 DMs right after
I'm
he posts
just making sure that life finds a way. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you don't want to go with me to the premiere? Look what you missed out on.
Look, man.
My Raya's just me and Gyllenhaal.
Look, I had Danielle Fischel direct me in a show.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people were like, motherfucker, you met Topanga? Let alone the women that were like, yo, you met Topanga? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
the
Like,
market.
Right.
Dude, people have seen Yaya on Watchmen. That helped too.
yeah.
It's true.
I'm
go,
friends
dude.
with that swinging
Hilarious.
DC.
All right. Jurassic Park.
Jesus Christ.
Cheese and rice. Jurassic Park. So finishing up, and we also should talk about, as made famously in the SCHMOEDOWN, Sir Richard Attenborough, which, as Bibbs points out, was not a sir, I guess, at the time of this movie.
We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
I still don't get the controversy because I don't think I've ever seen the match. I just know it was wild.
It was just so much.
I think Dan called him Sir Richard Attenborough, and at the time when he was billed,
He wasn't yet
Sir.
knighted.
So Bibbs challenge. I've never seen Dan Merle get so mad at a challenge. He was so mad at that challenge. And look, to be fair to Bibbs, it's you can challenge anything. For people going, oh, you shouldn't. You can challenge anything. And honestly,
As Bateman,
I don't think that he would do it for this reason because he's not that kind of player. But if he wanted to do it, if he wanted to challenge the Attenborough question just to get in Dan's head, good for him.
Yeah, it's a solid play if you're that player.
It's absolutely every right to do it. I think it was a stupid challenge overall. In general, a stupid challenge where you're not going to win that challenge. But if you're doing it to get into someone's head, sure.
Bro, the bad boy Pistons. Sometimes you put an elbow into somebody's rib cage when they go up for a dunk and let them think about it.
Yeah, man.
And that's it. You're not actively trying to hurt somebody.
No.
But
sometimes
you are trying to mess
Kate
with them.
spells Kate with a C and it's one name, and like Seal and Oprah. Sometimes Kate's the only.
Look, there's going to be one that comes up later that I got yelled at for by one you were there for and they were just talking trash.
Yes.
The other
that
one
was amazing.
The other one was legitimate and was like you no, that's an incorrect answer.
Yeah.
And you'll see everything. You can come back and watch this video and see what I'm talking about, but like
That was
sometimes
fun
you gotta
too.
do it.
Yeah, and that was a fun match because of it. Like sometimes it enhances the whole experience instead of like
totally. But this one anyway. But Attenborough is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
He's really good in it, and it's like you believe that he is this billionaire and that and his purpose and the idea. And I really like where they go with him because he's not. That's why, as Winston mentioned in the beginning, his intent is not ill will. It's really to be this. I'm bringing dinosaurs back to the world, and I'm going to do it in such a way that people are going to. The same way that you can see where a billionaire would say this, where he'd go, "Oh, the same way that gorillas are in the zoo and elephants are in the zoo. We're going to bring dinosaurs and put them in a zoo." And then by the end of it, he sees it and he's like, "All right, we got to shut it down."
Yeah, I guess the whole thing is that this seems more uncontrollable than other stuff. But if you think about, like, say, Suicide Squad, for example, you're taking a bunch of sociopathic like murderers and being like, we'll just put a bomb in your head and that should be enough that if you get away from us, we're gonna whatever. But you don't realize that again, they are supervillains. They're gonna figure out how to get around that.
Same thing with the dinosaurs.
The same thing. The dinosaurs will find a way around the fence or whatever.
And we still don't know. I mean, but that's why I think I understand why they go there, and we'll go more into it when we get into the other rewatches of the movies. But like when they start screwing with the dinosaur DNA and making like the hodgepodge versions of the dinosaurs, and there's different dinosaurs that it's like they're mutated and everything. It becomes like a monster movie.
It gets more mustache twirly because then it's not inherently good. Whereas Hammond is inherently trying to make the world better in his eye. Mutating dinosaurs beyond mutation is like.
That's probably why you didn't like the first Jurassic World.
Well,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't in the first Jurassic World? Isn't there like a dino with active
It's
camo and
literally
it's got. I mean, look, and that is child's play compared to what the nonsense they do in the second.
I am terrified.
Child's
I'm
play.
so not. This is what was the movie we watched in one of the rewatches where we were just terrified? Was it Batman and Robin? Where all of us collectively it was.
I wish I knew.
There it is. Yeah. We were just worried for the whole rewatch, and I think this is this session's like, what is Jurassic World 2 going to do to us?
Jurassic World 2 is not a movie I'm looking forward to. I mean, for you guys, you're going through it the first time. So
there's novelty.
No, I am actively putting myself through this first time.
Should I take an edible?
Yes.
That's the sponsor we need.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I can see you come and go, I was expecting it to be really bad. It wasn't that bad. Oh, listen, the opening scene is fantastic.
Okay.
And very much, and the director is awesome. He was the guy who did Monster Calls.
yeah. He's visually really so
great
Who
director.
Who did World?
That was Colin Trevorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's coming back for 3.
Okay.
And it looks like they're letting him do the one he wanted to make because all the behind the scenes stuff, all the trailers, that 6-minute video he made, that short film was some of the best Jurassic Park I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he wasn't gonna come back, and I think that's when he was getting into doing episode 9, and then that's why he took he was stepping back from. He produced the second one.
Good for him to have that problem, right?
Right. So what would you rather do, Kristian? You're given carte blanche. Do you direct a Jurassic Park film or do you direct a Star Wars film?
Come on, man. Who are you asking? Me or him?
I was gonna say, look behind me.
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Direct out of the. Jurassic Park to me is I could if you said to me there are a lot of franchises. As I said, I enjoy these movies. I like watching them. I like shoving popcorn in my face. There are tons of other franchises that I would take over Jurassic Park.
All right, Rocky or Star Wars?
Let's see. That's a good one. Star Wars still, because I think there's more to play with in Star Wars. Like the one that I always wanted to do, and this is way before, and I think I told you guys on the show, I wanted to do I had come up with a prequel idea for Apollo Creed before Creed came out. I wanted an idea of like the 60s and the 70s of like, you know, showing him and people, and essentially it's like the fictionalized version of Muhammad Ali, because it's just they're
I like that.
They're different, but you just show the young Apollo Creed. I still think there's a story of it, but I would want to direct something in the Star Wars world.
What about if you had Jurassic Park free reign or a very structured middle child Star Wars where the studio's controlling?
That
you know what I mean? Because you're in more of a universe.
That was more my
Jurassic
thought.
Park, you got freedom. Star Wars, you got to stay within the parameters.
It's still Star Wars.
Wow.
It's just I just know I know more about it. I care more about it.
Fair.
You know, like there's the game that you could play at one point is putting like a bunch of franchises and say you can either have this or Jurassic Park. Most times, depending on what they are, you know, unless it's like Pokemon and like Power Rangers, Jurassic Park might lose.
I might take Pokemon or Power Rangers.
There's a lot because even I mean,
I'm taking
Not
Jurassic
as
Park
movies,
over
but as
most things.
franchises.
I'm the other way because
See-
this is more foundational to my experience. Of
I
life.
understand that. Like here's this the tough one that I would get into, and most people would take Jurassic Park over this, and I understand when it comes to Terminator and Jurassic Park.
Interesting. No, I take Terminator.
Oh, I'd run
Do you?
from
Okay.
Terminator.
Yeah.
See, Terminator has not had a good movie since the second one.
Sure.
And I just think that because the TV show, the problem with the TV show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, is that it just suffered from having TV budgets.
Yeah.
And it was when it was on network TV. The stories itself was pretty good.
Well, I guess so. The two things in my head, there's a lot of just these older franchises like growing up because I was just doing my own thing and my parents were not big into movies that I missed. So I saw the first two Terminators also within the last like decade.
Okay.
I haven't seen Past Judgment Day because everybody kept telling me how bad
Oh,
they
you've
were.
never
So
seen past them.
Judgment Day was the last one I saw.
Well, of course. That's
So
why.
you're in the
that's-
best
well,
timeline,
that-
dude.
so that's
Look how
exactly-
happy you are.
Now that
That's
makes,
why he picks Terminator.
that
He's
makes
like, I
sense.
live in a perfect
Of course.
world where there's
Yeah.
two Terminators.
Right. So
Man.
because there's a lot of stuff inside of the other ones that had potential, but like it's so much crap. That, I mean,
I've only watched the Yankees winning seasons. They're a great team.
The last movie. The last movie was terrible, and the movie before that, I mean, they're just not good. But I still think that because you're dealing with time travel and the way that you can do it, and my favorite, I know we're talking about Jurassic Park here, but my favorite, and I've said this a million times over, Terminator 1, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love T2, but Terminator 1, it is to me a far superior film than the second one. And what makes that movie so special, besides just the fact that it's a low budget movie, is that it's a horror film. That is a horror movie. In my humble opinion, I still think that if you want to try to save the Terminator franchise, you make it for like $60 million and shoot it like a low-budget horror film.
It's
That new Candyman, make it that vein, because that new Candyman
I
is
still
terrifying and
haven't
it's
seen it.
really
Still
low
haven't
budget
seen
and handled well.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
yeah.
It's
good.
incredible.
It's fucking crazy.
And it's terrifying, and the budget is used as a strength.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then it just sounds like you need Jordan to be involved, and I think you could. I think he would kill it if you gave him either Jurassic Park or Terminator.
He produced Candyman, yeah. And the director's doing the Captain Marvel sequel, which it's the first time I'm excited for Captain Marvel.
All I was gonna say is that there's clearly a formula where that worked, where you started with a horror film and turned it into an action film because you did the same thing with Aliens. A lot of people argue that Alien is a horror film and then Aliens is
Action
your
film.
action film.
More action.
T1, T2 is the same.
100%.
I also think the Terminator is probably the most ripe IP for today of any 80s IP. There's nothing more topical than what we're getting with like Boston Dynamics robots, AI taking over,
Right.
Skynet
Well, right.
is
Yeah,
social
yeah,
media.
yeah.
Like there's never
Well,
been
that's-
more of a time for Skynet to activate.
And that's what I
than
want to see what they do with Jurassic Park, right? Because Jurassic Park, the tone really hasn't changed too much. Because as we all mentioned, the first one could have very well been more of a horror film, but understandably why they went more mainstream blockbuster, and it worked. I'm very curious to see where this goes. This third movie. I feel like from when it's coming out, it's going to be another big blockbuster movie, and even the trailer where it's kind of makes me nervous, where the dinosaur comes into the drive-in and people are just kind of going about their business. Oh, look at dinosaur, and it's just like I don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
you had the T-Rex being like, "Mommy, Daddy, look," and he out here just drinking from the pool. I mean, we're about to get to that. Like,
I know that's the second. Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean it's good.
well, and that was the thing that I felt like. I remember because I played the Lost World game in arcade
game was so
all the
good.
time.
Yeah.
I was very confused why we went from Jurassic Park to San Diego, and that's just from the video game perspective, let alone to then watch the movie and be like, this is where this came from?
Right.
He was just
That's
And like,
why
I was starstruck by San Diego the first time I went to Comic-Con because I was like, this is where the T-Rex was. And I was like a grown man. I was just so excited to be there.
Wasn't it also shot in Burbank? Because there seems to be a lot of downtown Burbank.
I don't know. We'll find out soon because that's the second one. This was the first one. We dove into the kid dynamic. We went into for sure. The brother and sister, you believe that they're brother and sister, absolutely. And are the kids a little annoying? Yeah, but whatever.
Ian Malcolm's so quotable and
he is.
today. Like
He
a
is.
lot of his quotes about science and that we see them come up.
And I like that, but I like their relationship also because normally you don't see characters like that where normally a guy like that who's hitting on the main guy's girlfriend either gets eaten by a dinosaur or something else, but he turns out to be an ally. You know, he turns out to be a guy who he stops, he cuts it out, and they all kind of work together, and he's got the conflicting view right away. Alan and what's Laura Dern's character's name?
That's the thing that kills me. I just keep calling her Laura Dern.
Because it's Laura Dern.
Oh man, it's Alan and.
The audience is right now screaming at us.
Like Perry just woke up in a cold sweat.
Eli Sattler. Is it Ellie?
Dr. Sattler.
Sattler. I think they say Ellie once. That's why I said Eli.
Eli. So Eli and Peyton are running around the joint.
Dr. Eli. That doesn't sound like Laura Dern at all.
But it was, and then how about what we talk about is the hunter that that guy could have.
That guy's awesome.
He could have more to do.
If I remember correctly, he didn't even do anything.
No, he could have had more.
Clever girl.
Yeah.
He says one of the most quotable lines of all
time. But I just love how he is built up as this dude. Like, I got it. I got the shot. He didn't kill one dinosaur.
Yeah.
Homie was like, chill. I got this.
Well, there wasn't a lot of. I mean, how many?
My acting coach is in this movie. As Dotson.
How many dinosaurs actually died in this movie?
The ones that got ate.
Right. But they didn't kill any dinosaurs.
Because the Triceratops survived, it was just sick.
They did not kill a single dinosaur.
And I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's not what they. I think they start to become villains if they start to do that because they're the ones that brought them there.
Yeah, that you invented them. It's like killing your child.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but you kind of invented Carrie, and she kind of needs to be put down at one point. If I'm being honest with you,
but that's why I like them not humanizing them with blue and stuff. Is you need them to stay monsters. Do you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I lost in Jurassic World. Is like they're no longer the thing they're meant to be.
But Jurassic World, but also gives you the reason that when you kill them, you don't care as much because because when the T-Rex is when they bring it through this process in Jurassic Park, and then if you would have started shooting shotgun shots at it, you're like, oh man, like that's.
I mean, you're not wrong because I guess watching The Lost World, even though I was more pissed off at The Lost World, and we'll get to that, is because it's like, bro, did y'all not learn your damn lesson? You just decided you're gonna show up to the extra island and start kidnapping dinosaurs to put on display.
Right.
You dumbasses.
Right.
But humans
they
are
get
dumb.
dumber. They get. It's true. That's why I always say about aliens. It's like people. Aliens probably like, oh, how come if aliens are real, how come they haven't shown up? And because we're smart enough that we would know that they were going to be here. And I was like, do you ever think that maybe we're not the smartest and maybe we're actually the dumbest?
If they can travel here, they've got intergalactic travel, which means they're already smarter than us.
Yeah,
and if the last 2 years have taught us anything, is that everyone hides zombie bites.
And they get close. And they get close to Earth, and they go, "What are they watching right now? Something called the Floribama Shore. Turn around.
That's it. We're out. We're done.
Go back home."
I'm trying to tell you, it's not direct Eternals, but the Celestials literally said, "All right, we're gonna give y'all a shot," and then they go, "Y'all some dumbasses. Good luck."
Dumb.
Look at how we've handled everything in the last 10 years. It's really
why haven't we seen any aliens?
I wish I knew.
All right. Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what's that?
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here, man. Shit.
All right, it's time to go. Jurassic Park.
Incredible
we'll be back
movie.
with Jurassic Park 2 next week. It might have to be digital next week, and I'll explain to Winston and Coy why. But it might have to be digital next week, and then
This is how Kristian tells us he's sick.
no,
Well,
right now.
Surprise,
surprise, motherfuckers!
It's just like, the thing's over. It's like, by the way, you've got to be in the house for 14 days.
All right, listen, we got to go. Make sure that you subscribe. Don't forget to do that. Hit the click button, the like button, the notification button, all that stuff. Check out all the reviews we got going on. A lot of reviews. I think that I'm going to be doing the Dumbledore movie, whatever the hell that is, The Secrets of Farts. That'll be out soon. So make sure you check that out. And that's it. That's the show. We'll talk to you next time. Peace. Farts. wasn't me.
That was for that gag.
Was.
I hope you stop by.